pollution and the destruction of the environment. It is winter, but the sun is as strong as it was on Mount Sinai, because they have opened holes in the atmosphere. Without the northern breeze, it's impossible to stand under the sun for long. Geronda, what will happen with the ozone? We must show a little bit of patience while the scientists go up there with 5 kilos of putty and plug the hole. Yes, let them go up and try to plug the holes. They will realize that God has made everything to be good, with so much harmony. Perhaps then they will say to the Lord, "Have mercy on us, we did not do things right." Let us pray that the hole which has opened in the atmosphere will be closed. Indeed, a bowl full of the wrath of God is now open in the sky, and is causing trees and plants to wilt and dry up. But God can fix it if we humbly ask Him. But some people are so cunning. In order to get money out of the very wealthy, they spread rumors that because a hole has opened in the atmosphere, the world will be destroyed. There is supposedly a scientific plan to dig deep into the earth in order to avoid the sun. Of course, since this cannot be done, they come up with a new story. Supposedly, we will build on the moon restaurants, hotels, housing, and people will go there. Those who want to be safe must make a deposit and pay the very high fare. Of course, the whole thing is a lie. There's nothing on the moon. Human beings cannot live there. Only a few astronauts went up in a capsule and came back. Yet, there are people who believe this nonsense and are willing to pay big money for it. Geronda, many people worry about air pollution. This is why they must put pressure on factory owners to install anti-pollution devices and save people from all the smog. Instead of bribing members of the parliament, factory owners should spend a little more money and install anti-pollution equipment in their factories. In the old days, there were no germs, no smog. Today, everything is polluted, and people consider it progress. And where are they heading? They are destroying human beings. You go out of your house and the air smells of fumes. As soon as you open the window, the smog comes in and sticks to your skin. Even when you wash your hands, you cannot get rid of it, because it's not mere soot. While the sooty irritants we inhale from a fireplace are removed by coughing, coughing cannot help when it comes to smog, because smog contains oils which stick inside one's lungs. In apartment buildings, people are piled up one on top of the other, so close that when one dusts his clothes, the dust falls on the balcony below. I pity those who live on the first floor. They get the dust and garbage of all their neighbors upstairs. They get it on their clothes that are hanging out to dry, or through their open windows. People have no consideration. In the old days, these modern apartment buildings would have been taken for prisons, like Yendi Cole. Yes, it's horrible. Years ago, our houses used to have a yard, animals, a garden. On our trees, all kinds of birds would gather. Nowadays, Geronda, you can't even see swallows. Do you think that swallows are crazy to go and live in the cities? In time, people will forget what a swallow looks like. At an American university in the department where they study the history of the Old and New Testament, they have planted a field of wheat to show students what wheat looks like, and in order to explain to them what shepherd and Eve mean, they bring a small flock of sheep with a shepherd holding a shepherd's staff, and they call this a university. They have polluted the entire atmosphere. Even in winter, we can smell the stench of garbage. Imagine how bad it gets in summer. And they don't bother to send an aeroplane to spray with a disinfectant. We are lucky that God has made flowers with fragrant aromas. All these flowers with their various forms and sizes and fragrances neutralize the stench. What would happen without these natural aromas in the atmosphere? It only takes one dead animal and the stench is unbearable. God takes such good care of us. Imagine our condition if He ever abandoned us. Imagine if there were no flowers and herbs on the earth. Through them, our fetid odors are covered. We can take such delight in flowers and their aromas. Once a lay person came to my calavi and asked me, "What do you do here day and night with all the time you have?" Everything around me was in full bloom. The mountain slopes were full of flowers. There was a sweet fragrance everywhere. So I said to him, "Do you know what I must go through in order to water and take care of all the living things you see? And do you see how many vigil lamps I light in the sky every night? I hardly have enough time to light them all." He was looking at me dumbfounded. "Don't you see all the lamps up there at night? I am the one who keeps them burning. How could I possibly have enough time? It is not easy with so many lamps. I needed to change the wick to pour the oil." The poor soul was at a loss for words. Spraying pesticides is poisonous. So many birds die from pesticides. They spray the trees to protect them from disease, and as a result people get sick. They poison everything. Wouldn't it be better if we sprayed less and buried the rotten fruit or composted it instead of composting the good ones? Isn't it obvious that pesticide fumes harm human beings? They can be fatal for young children. This is one reason they are born sick. I once said to a visitor, "What's going on? You have killed the insects and now you're killing people." They spray the flowers to kill the insects and people get sick. Next thing you know, they'll discover even stronger pesticides. What'll happen to us? It has been proven that some of the insects they exterminated were actually killing other harmful insects. Now we will try to breed the good insects again in order to get rid of the bad ones. God has arranged everything so well. Wherever there are crickets, there are no mosquitoes. A person came to the calavi with a small device. It produced a harsher version of the cricket's sound to repel mosquitoes. We killed the crickets which sang so sweetly, and now we are trying to imitate their sound, which God has made with a battery-run device. They have killed everything, the crickets, the turtle doves. It is rare to see even a raven today. Soon we'll be exhibiting ravens in cages. When you spray your trees, let God help you a little. If the pesticide does not reach everywhere, it does not matter. We have all kinds of means today for so many things, but nothing to strengthen our faith. I hear people ask, "Is such and such a medicine available? Where is it? Abroad?" And they rush to the phone to find out how to get it. Gradually, lay people and even monastics are putting God aside. We have not put spiritual progress first. Had that been our priority, everything would be holy and good. The problem is, when it comes to spiritual progress, we monastics are no different from lay people. But Geronda, Dacus is harmful to the olive trees. Take your komboskoini and pray for the Dacus to leave the trees. Do not just rely on spraying. Put some Christ in your work. We are making an effort to do things as if we lived in the world. It does not occur to us that we monastics live in a different world. We should not try to imitate what lay people do or even outdo them. Where is Christ? I'm not saying that you should not spray at all, but just keep in mind that they are still experimenting with these chemicals. When you spray, wear masks. It is better to have some fruit afflicted by Dacus than to try to spray everything in sight. Try to cut down on the number of sprayings. Pray with devotion. Read the first psalm and sprinkle some holy water on the trees. When you live correctly, you will gather the rain you need, and the caterpillars will die. God will provide for you. You need to have devotion and trust God.